Rowing motions use a lot of different muscles, and different muscles come into play to a greater or lesser extent depending on the orientation of your hands. So for example, if I'm doing a seated cable row, so if I'm pulling into myself and my hands are in a prone position facing down, my elbows are up, my lats are more the big back muscle, and that's one of the big muscles that we're working on this this particular exercise I'm going to show you. They're more what's the right word? Not expanded. They are more lengthened. Sorry, the word. They're more lengthened. So they're in their longest position up here. Okay. So they're not quite as long here. They insert here. Okay. So as I drop my arm down like this, the muscle is a little shorter, and then you can imagine as I bring my arms down like this, again the muscle shortens even further. Now, also as I bring my arms in like this, the biceps start to come more into play. As I'm rowing, the biceps are more into play when I'm using a neutral grip, and they're significantly in play when I'm using this supine grip with my grip facing up. It's almost like doing a barbell curl along with rowing with the lats. What we're going to do today is we're going to do a supine or a curl grip row. I have another video on how to do a prone or a wide grip row. What we're doing here, like I said, is we're switching the focus more to the biceps, a little less to the lats. But the cool thing is that because we're moving both around the elbow and the shoulder joint, the lats are still working quite a bit. So I'm working the lats, I'm working my biceps, I'm working my rear deltoid muscle, the back shoulder muscle here, the muscles in between my shoulder blades called rhomboids that pull my shoulders together, and the big trapezius muscle, which encompasses a large part of my upper back. All of those are working, but really the main focus here is my lats and my biceps. Proper motion, whether my hand is prone or neutral or supine, is that my shoulder blade contracts first, my shoulder moves next, and my elbow moves next. And the reverse happens when I relax, elbow, shoulder, shoulder blade relaxes. But you don't want to break the movement down into when I started out in personal training, would teach it like that, and I found that people were very choppy in their movement. Don't worry about that. The cue that you need to learn and that you need to follow is squeeze the shoulder blades first. Okay, the shoulder blades squeeze first, and then you pull your arms in. I promise you, if you can do that, if you can engage those shoulder blades, everything else will follow properly. Okay, and the reverse is true. As I release, I want to now kind of imagine them separating as my arms go out as far as they can go away from me. So they contract, and then they separate, and they contract, and then they separate. That gives me just a little bit more of a range of motion. What I don't want to do is slouch in order to get them to separate. I want to be straight. My spine is straight, my core is tight, everything is nice and tight, my head is looking straight, and I breathe out as I pull in explosively, and then relax, nice and slow. So I contract, or I go to the anti-contraction, or the eccentric phase, slowly. Fast in, slow out as I take a breath in. But I'm using a curl grip, or a supine grip on this. I'm going to be pulling the cables. I'm using dual cables, not a single bar. So I'm going to be pulling the cables right to the bottom of my rib cage. Okay? So I'm going to show you how to do it on the machine. In gyms, a seated cable row is usually a machine that has a long bench and a single cable in the middle. I don't have that machine here, so you'll have to imagine that you're using either a bar with a wide grip or some such, or maybe they do have a machine like this at your gym, but chances are they're not going to. So you could do this with a bar using a supine grip, either close in or wide. Okay? So here we go. I'm going to lean back so there's tension. Sit up straight, breathe in and out. Okay, and that last 11th rep, I didn't really get a full range of motion. I can feel my body starting to sway. So that's when I stopped. But I wanted to get 10 reps in. I did. I'm pretty happy with those. So there it is, a supine grip cable row. Again, really good for the lats, but also really good for the biceps, okay? So it's one you can throw in your arsenal.